All right, but with Dallas recap past us, we are going to move into Pioneer. I'm pretty excited. We're playing Bant Spirits tonight as our first league. Depending on how this league goes, we might play a second league. If I do, I'm thinking about playing Living In, just as a heads up. So this is the most recent 5-0 Bant Company list. I mean, it's the same creature package that it's always been playing. I like to Watcher of the Spheres in this deck. Makes everything cost one less, which is kind of nice. Excuse me. Literally every card except for Skyclave Apparition costs less. So Mystical Dispute and Disdainful Strokes in our sideboard as the counter package. The 4 Skyclave Apparition is really good. Katilda has a lot of really good play. I know that its power and toughness are equal to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments, so that's going to be pretty solid. Rest in Peace is really good. 3 Portable holds great removal, and Deafening Silence beats up on a lot of the metagame. So we're just going to jump in here. I have the tickets to... Yeah, I got the points. There we go. Boom. Should probably get in the habit of checking that before I start playing, but... Kind of excited to jump back into streaming, honestly. I had a lot of fun being in Dallas this weekend, but I'm excited to come back and play some games. I've also changed my monitor setup a little bit, so if it looks like I'm looking further to my right, it's just because I'm looking at my right monitor, so... You could be in the shot, you know, it won't kill you. Carly's terrified of being on the camera. I don't really know why.
Your shoes are still dirty.
My shoes are still dirty?
Yeah.
Shocking. Great. I can't see, but I'll look at them later. I think we'll need that stick to get them out.
The Zout?
Yeah, the Zout thing.
Yeah.
Like to get them clean, but either way. The one thing that I don't like about the Spirits deck is the mana base. The mana base is always tough. Like, there's a lot of shocking that goes on, so... A lot of shocking, and Mana Confluence is also not a great one. I think this hand's pretty good. Selfless Spirit will help us protect. Skyclave Apparition plays pretty well, and then we have 2 Lords in our hand, which can be pretty good at just like trying to help us run over our opponents. The last league we played was Orzhov Blink. And one of the problems that league that I had was that I played against Lotusfield twice. In both games, I was never able to cross the finish line. So that was a little tough. No, there's nothing to do. And then we'll just play the Hengegate Pathway. Probably play the Selfless Spirit. But we'll see what our opponent does. Oh, they're playing the Colorless deck. Okay. Now the good news is that Skyclave Apparition deals with Thought Seer pretty handily, so we'll just go ahead and run out Supreme Phantom here and say go. Not that they're ever going to attack with the Hedron Crawler. I don't think that's even an option for them. And things an 0-1. I don't think they really like put counters on anything. If they play Thought Seer, they'll more than likely take the Skyclave Apparition, or one of our Skyclave Apparitions. The second one is pretty solid here, and the and the Selfless Spirit can really help us protect our board and what we're trying to accomplish. Okay. That's fine. I'm just going to play Skyclave Apparition here anyway, tax their mana a little bit. We'll exile the Hedron Crawler, and plus it gives them less of a body when they do kill my Skyclave Apparition, so that's fine. I mean, if they take one of our 2-drops, then we won't play double 2-drop next turn. I was like, but they're more than likely taking the Skyclave Apparition here. At least that's what I would put them on taking. And Supreme Phantom, say go. Okay, that's fine. They get rid of that, that's fine. We might as well go ahead and use this ability here. Like, I don't see a reason not to. I mean, maybe the fact that we could trade a Selfless Spirit for a Thought-Knot Seer is pretty worth it. So we can attack for 4 here in the air, put our opponent to 16. Play this, and we'll just say go. And then we can tap down one of their Thought-Knot Seers here. Okay, Radiant Fountain. I mean, they do get a lot of utility lands, considering they're playing a colorless deck. Activate this only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Okay, I mean, that's pretty much... Like, a lot of the Eldrazi's always turned on, so, I mean, that's a pretty given that they can pay. It's probably just better than the, I can't remember what the land they used to play was, the one that let them draw a card. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like pay 2 or 3 and draw a card, and it was like, do this only if you have, like, no cards in hand. I can't remember what that one was called, but... We're going to 11 here. That's fine. That's going to be a problem. Tap a permanent, add an additional colorless. Good evening, Blaze in chat. Hey, Adoxy, what's going on, buddy? Whenever you cast a colorless spell, you gain 2 life. Alright, well... We're kind of flooding out here, so we're just going to be forced to tap our tap down the Thought-Knot Seers and see what we can make happen here. Forsaken Monument kind of makes this deck, like, honestly, like, kind of pushes this deck over the top. I don't really think we want portable holes in this matchup. I'm not really sure what we're bringing in. Like, I think we probably want some, I think we have Disdainful Strokes in our sideboard. I think we'll want those. How was the MTG trip? It was good. I actually just finished talking about that. It was a good trip. I started out 5-0 in the Open and finished 5-3. So that was a little disappointing because I ended up not making day 2. But I mean, other than that, it was not too bad. Man, this is tough. They're going to use that to animate Mutavault. I don't think we're coming back from this one. So, I mean... We're going to tap this down. We're going to tap down the Reality Smasher here because I'm okay with discarding a land. Oh, it's a spell? I thought it was a spell or ability. Okay, so I mean, we're taking 6 here. I don't know. We need to see a Collected Company. Like, honestly, that's what's going to get us out of this, is a Collected Company here. Supreme Phantom's good, but that's not it, unfortunately. Because we tap, block. Yeah, okay. Well, we just drew too many lands there. Yeah, I think we just flooded out a little bit too hard. Disdainful Stroke is really good. Skyclave Apparition feels pretty solid. Katilda. Flying Lifelink, protection for vampires. Power and toughness are equal to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. Let's see. Legendary enchantment. It's an aura. Enchanted creature has flying, lifelink, and protection for vampires. It gets +X/+X, where X is the number of permanents you control. Put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't seem bad. Like, seems better than something else we could be doing, honestly. I'm a fan of the Azorius approach of spirits. I like the pseudo control feel it gives. I have it sleeved next to me. Yeah, no, I mean that deck's good. I like the blue white version a lot. the like Lofty Denial package, I think, is really good. Spell Queller seems solid here. Watcher, Shacklegeist. Guess we can cut A Company because we're bringing in some non-creatures here. And then Mausoleum Wanderer honestly just feels kind of lackluster. I don't know. We probably want Collected Company. That card's a powerhouse here. Maybe we just don't want the forced Skyclave Apparition. I can see us trying something like this. I don't know. The forced Skyclave Apparition seems like fine. I like this hand because it allows us to play at instant speed. So I do enjoy that aspect of this. As an aggro player, this is absolutely your version. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I think it fits more for you. Are you saying that the Bant version fits more for me, or the blue-white version fits more for me?
The neighbors have a Zumba lawnmower.
I have just been informed that our neighbors have a Roomba that mows their lawn. Carly's keeping me in the loop here. That's crazy. That's so. I didn't know they made those either. I think most of the world did. I'm sure it's not doing a good job. It's a Roomba. It's not designed to mow lawns. The Bant, it feels more aggro to me, more all in. Oh yeah, for sure. Like the Bant version is definitely more all in. Flash into Rattlechains. Kind of hoping we just go land here. They're probably just going to Warping Well and kill this, which is fine. Watcher of the Spheres is a good one. Kind of wish we had drawn that last turn. It allows us to... It really just allows us to... Hopefully we hit a land here. Well, if our opponent doesn't play a 4-drop, we can go Rattlechains into Selfless Spirit. If they do play a 4-drop, we have Disdainful Stroke. So, kind of the good with the bad here. Most of the time their curve starts at 4, so... Okay. Well, I was kind of hoping to draw a land so that I could hold up Rattlechains there, but to protect one of our guys if we needed to. But I mean, not much we can do about that. I've seen this colorless deck around a little bit, but I haven't seen a ton of it, so... The good news is that it's pretty easy for us to race this deck because a lot of their blockers are on the ground. They don't jump, so that's pretty solid. I always really liked Bant Spirits in Modern. Drogskol Captain is insane, and I really like... there's a blue and... it's a counter spell. It's blue and colorless, and it says counter target spell if you control more creatures than your opponent. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I really like that one. Man, I think we really need to play this on the green side. Like, I know that we want to... I know that we want to be able to play the other Watcher of the Spheres, but if we hit a land to go into Collected Company, I think that's what we're looking for here. Well, we had the Mana Confluence. That was actually just wrong. I forgot I had Mana Confluence on the field. That was just a mistake. Scry's one at the bottom. Okay. If we do hit an untapped land for company, I love the deck in Modern. Yeah, dude, the deck in Modern is so much fun. Now is less competitive, unfortunately. Yeah, you don't see it a lot in Modern anymore, but the deck is a lot of fun. Like, the fact that you get Ether Vial, Drogskull Captain, and, like, I mean, there's so much more card pool in Modern. Like, it just makes the deck more fun, in my opinion. Where did my card go? Uh-oh. I lost the Raminip runes. I thought my Raminip runes, like, I don't know, just like vanished into thin air or something. Curious to know what they tutor for here. Like, what 2-mana artifact they could be tutoring for. I even sideboarded Mariners. It was so fun. Yeah, actually, that card was insane. That card was really good. That card did not see a lot of play. Unsettled Mariner did not see as much play in Modern as I thought it would. Like, that card just destroys Burn. Like, just completely destroys it. I hope it gets back someday, some way. Yeah, that would be nice, honestly. Like, Unsettled Mariner is one of those cards that should see more play. At least I think it should. That card is absolutely bonkers. He's going to play Pithing Needle, and he's going to name Selfless Spirit here, I imagine. So let's see. We go to 12 here. And then land. It's actually just lethal, isn't it? 4, 7, 10, 13. Nice. All right. Well, we get game 2 at least. So they know that we have the... They know we have Disdainful Stroke now. They just probably don't know how many we have. They probably play Ugin as a top end. Yeah, as top end. And that's something that we do need to play around a little bit, but... We could try and bring in Portable Hull to hedge around the 2-drop, the Hedron Crawler, but I just don't think that's worth... I think we need to have a timely Spell Queller for their Thought-Knot Seer, and then I think we need to have a Disdainful Stroke for the Ugin if it gets to that point, or a Planeswalker of like major relevance. I think that's really where we need to be to win this matchup. That Lord, that's a Spirits ending. Sexy. I mean, yeah, like that's exactly what Spirits does. Like it whittles the game and plays like a couple of dorks, and then those Lords just come in and end the game. That is what Spirits has always done. I hate playing against Spirits when I'm playing Burn. It's so hard to beat. Like it is so hard to beat with Burn. Okay, I really like this hand. Again, our opponent mulligans again, but I really like this hand. I think this is very solid. Having double Lord is sweet. Plus we have Rattlechains. That as long as it doesn't die to Warping Well, we'll be in good shape here. Burn is quite a good match. Rattlechains destroys the Burn hands. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of cards that, like, honestly, Spirits just kind of picks on Burn, truthfully. Like, it just completely picks on that deck, like, wholeheartedly. It always has. Hedron Crawler's a little scary here if they have it. Ratchet Bomb is also a real problem. Now, we can play around Ratchet Bomb here. Selfless Spirit does allow us to do that, which is kind of nice. So, I mean, we're just going to flash in the Rattlechains here. It probably eats a... it does not. Okay. Just attack for 2. Our opponent will take up the Ratchet Bomb here, and when they do, we'll flash in the Selfless Spirit in response. Okay. Well, that'll also be a problem. Probably takes a Collected Company here if I had to guess. I mean, it's the only thing that doesn't beat his Blast Zone, so I imagine that's what we're looking at here. Would like to see a land here. I mean, bro, like, that's fine. If you're willing to take 4, I'm willing to just let you take 4 here. Like, I am winning the race at this point, so... Okay. Alright, let's flash in a Shacklegeist here. It's probably the one that I care about the least, honestly, in all of this hand. So... probably what our opponent will do is sacrifice the Ratchet Bomb here. Because they don't want to go to 8. That puts them in a pretty bad spot against us. Our opponent's probably debating how they want to do this. It's definitely what... I mean, it's the only thing I can think that they would be tanking about at this situation of the game is how they're wanting to handle this situation. And the truth is that they probably want to... yeah, they're going to do that. And then we're going to force them to react. They'll go into our turn... I'm going to attack for 4. Like, again, like, we're winning this race. Interesting. If they attack and just say go, I'm just going to flash in an Empyrean Eagle here. I have no reason to sacrifice, like, to add more 2-drops to the board. And if they tap out for anything, they don't get to hold up the Blast Zone. Like, we've put them in a spot, like, we've put them in a very awkward position here. And Empyrean Eagle just makes this more awkward for them. I truthfully think they should have went for the Blast Zone there instead of the... Interesting. I mean, if our opponent's willing to take 8 and go to 2 here, I'm cool with that. Because, I mean... Yeah, like, that's fine. So now we're going to play Watcher of Spheres post-combat. And then we're going to hold up Rattlechains here. Rattlechains can protect the Empyrean Eagle if we need it to. I don't know what they're doing to try and kill our Empyrean Eagle here, but... the fact that our opponent has not seen another land has been very good for us. Yep, we'll join you at 8. They only have one resource open. Like, God, resource, Jesus Christ. I've been playing too much Flesh and Blood, sorry. Only have 1 mana open. Oh, I forgot I didn't need to do that. So, cool. And attack for 1 billion. And this is exactly how Spirits wins the game. Our opponent was like stuck on lands a little bit, and we just out-tempoed them. There wasn't anything for them to do. Like, we just... like, honestly, like, our opponent, like... So, if there's anybody in the chat who played during Eldrazi Winter, or anybody who's watching this video, you remember how oppressive Eldrazi Winter was, and that was because of Eye of Ugin. Yeah, Eye of Ugin, the one that made everything cost 2 less. Like, it was just insane. The problem with the deck in Pioneer is that it doesn't really have anything to do. Like, it doesn't have anything that really ramps it. The Hedron Crawler gets dealt with in a lot of ways. He gets dealt with Play of Fire, Fatal Push, Bloodchief's Thirst, like Spikefield Hazard, Flame Blessed Bolt. I mean, like, all the cards in the format can deal with it. Like, and so the problem is that, like, you went from, like, having a turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer to a turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer if things go well for you. And that's just not good enough in this format, in my opinion. Nice played, good tempo. Thanks, man, I appreciate that. I need to update my record. So, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, that deck just seems underwhelming to me, if you want the truth. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's got the gears to go all the way. So the funny part is, tonight I was going to play. Somebody on my YouTube channel suggested playing like a Jeskai like Prowess Mentor-y kind of thing, and personally, I love Jeskai Mentor. Hey Ben, let's go with 13 months. Appreciate the love, brother. Appreciate it, man. And I was gonna play like that Jeskai like Mentor-y list tonight, but I think this hand's fine. I was gonna play that tonight, but the lands are just too out of stock. Like, there's just not enough of the lands. Like, they didn't have Spirebluff Canals or the Blue-Red Pathways, which was pretty disappointing because I was looking forward to playing like a little goofy stuff after a weekend. Interesting. We'll just go ahead and run this out here and see what happens. We need to draw a white source, but it's not crazy to think that we would here. Just to have something a little goofy and fun to play after a weekend in Dallas. So I think Eldrazi is not there yet in Pioneer, maybe in the future. And Uncolor one. Yeah, no, I mean, that's possible. So they hit a Botanical Sanctum, which is terrible. Why can't I block? Oh, I can only block creatures with flying. Duh. That was dumb. Now we get to play Supreme Phantom. Okay. Would have liked to have seen a land there. I mean, like even a Botanical Sanctum would have been better than not there. So anyway, to go back to my point, the fact that Mana Traders is having a hard time keeping up with cards for Pioneer is telling me that everybody's playing Pioneer, and I think that really comes from the fact that it was announced. It was announced that the Pro Tour is going to be Pioneer, so that's what everybody's like playing. Oh man, that's terrible. That is so bad for us. So bad for us. So I think we're attacking for 3 here. I think we're going to play Shacklegeist number 2. We're going to use Shacklegeist to tap down Robber of the Rich. They'll more than likely get a counter or a... What are you? Okay. I mean, that's fine. Like, it's still... It's a -1/1 now, but I mean, it's still having its effect. I guess I'd rather them have a card here. Like, rather than take a card than punch in for an extra point here, which is kind of weird, but... Pioneer is now on its picks. Prices are going up and everybody wants to practice. The PT has spiked prices and demands a lot. Yeah, no, I know. Which is cool. I'm glad that Pioneer is getting some attention. But it's also just tough because... I don't think we can attack here. It's also tough because, you know, I love Pioneer. Like, I've been playing Pioneer, you know, for a year and a half now, and it's... So I'm glad to see that the format's getting a little more attention. What was the other card? They get another land, now they got an Empyrean Eagle. He's probably going to get a land here. Hallowed Fountain. Man, that would have been a great land. Give something hexproof. It doesn't matter. Oh, that's right. I should have tapped something down. I'm a moron. Well, let's hope they don't have like a burn spell here. Well, our opponent had like a bunch of 1-drops there. To be expected for mono red. We kept a 2-lander on the play and didn't see anything. I don't think us getting there is crazy, personally, but we'll cut a couple of collected companies here. Watcher of Spheres is good, but it is definitely a... I mean, Watcher of Spheres is a lightning rod, so we probably want to... Oh, man, I don't know. Like, I guess you're just shaving numbers here. Like, I guess you can cut a... Probably cut a couple of Watchers, honestly. Like, it's a 2, it dies to everything. Shacklegeist, like, can at least be pumped. The Watcher of Spheres only gets pumped by the Empyrean Eagle, which makes it a lot harder. It was so affordable, and it's now a shame that prices go up. But it's good to see the love for the format. Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. Like, that's completely how I feel about it. I mean, I really don't want to cut Shacklegeist, but I just don't feel like that 2-for-1 ability is where we want to be at with Shacklegeist. I think Supreme Phantom's too important. I mean, maybe we're just cutting all the Watcher of the Spheres here. Oh, no, it does demand an answer. Rattlechain's really good. Selfless Spirit's great. Mausoleum Wanderer counters a spell. Like, we're cutting a couple of collected companies because we're bringing in 3 portable holes. Like, chance of missing's not super high, but at the same time, not a huge chance I want to take. I think this hand's fine. Not having a second white source for the Skyclave Apparition can probably be a little bit of a risky proposition, but I think we're fine. We have 2 draws before we need to cast the Skyclave Apparition, and even then, like, needing to cast it's probably questionable. Let's go ahead and portable hold the Swift Spear here. We draw another white source if they play like an Eidolon or something. We have Skyclave Apparition. They actually have one less card than us because of their mulligan. God. Alright, so this is what we're doing, huh? Well, we hit another Branchloft Pathway. That's cool. Well, based on the number of spirits we can keep in play here, the Katilda might be a house, but it might not be. I think I'm willing to go to 15 here. Let's serve up 2. They're missing a 3rd land drop. I mean, I feel like they're just like playing like some kind of sly deck here. The fact that they're playing Robber of the Rich is interesting. Like, I don't hate it. Alright, so there went our collected companies. It's good to know that they're playing that. We're going to attack for 4 here and say go. I think Rattlechains... Rattlechains Selfless Spirit here is probably going to be a blowout. I'm just willing to say no blocks here. We're so far ahead at this point. Like, there's a lot up the stage. Yeah, to try and make something happen here. Makes sense. Well, we know they have gas in their hand because they haven't really played anything. I think I'm just going to flash this in. Like, they could have a play with fire here. It's like, it doesn't feel likely. We get to attack for 8 here. Alright, yeah, our opponent concedes. I was like, we have Spell Queller or we have flashing Katilda here. Like, that just felt like we were winning. So the fact that they're playing Grafdigger's Cage makes me want to bring in the Shacklegeist over the collected companies. I don't know if that's correct to like completely change my sideboard plan off of one card. But I think having multiple collected companies stuck in our hand and having nothing to do with it is kind of a blowout. So I think I'd rather play around it this way and try that. Like, I'm just like, I just pulled up, like, literally just pulled up Twitch, and Connor Mann's playing Pioneer, and Will Hall Experience is playing Pioneer. Like, there's, like, I think it means it'll be faster for me to find games. I think that's the one good thing I can take away from it. This hand's really good. I like this hand. Our opponent also keeps 7. And, okay. Well, joke's on you, opponent. I didn't have anything anyway. Well, Skyclave Apparition definitely would have been a good one. Alright, so we'll play that on the blue side. I don't know, like maybe they think we have a Spell Pierce or something crazy here. Like, I don't know what we're... This is the first time we've seen a 3rd land out of this deck, so I was like, I truly have no idea what to expect here. I play Kamuno and pass. So I'm going to play Watcher of the Spheres and say go here. I'm curious to see if this eats a removal spell. If they kill it, we will flash in Rattlechains in response just so we can have something to do. I know that it doesn't protect it, but at the same time, I would rather have it in play than not. Would have been nice if they would have like went for a shock effect right there, and we could have actually just blown them out with the, and we could have just blown them out with the Rattlechains there. But it appears, I mean, our opponent's out of cards here. Like, I want to hang on to that one. I mean, their last card could be like an Anthem here, but I mean, not an Anthem, removal spell, and if it is, that's fine. Well, Chandra's tough. Huh. Considering the way their lands have gone this game, or the last couple of games, I was honestly not expecting to see a Chandra here. I think we want to hang on to that. I think the life here is just worth... Alright, we'll go after the Play with Fire here. Hopefully they don't have a Lightning Strike in their hand. I mean, I guess even if they do have a Lightning Strike in their hand, we have a Selfless Spirit, so... The last card's Lightning Strike, it's a friggin' blowout. Got nothing for that. Alright, well, they're not attacking. We're going to kill Chandra here. We have to get Chandra off the board. Rattlechains is not bad. It allows us to protect our Spell Queller if we need it. I think this is worth just flashing in to trade with this, like, truthfully. Well, I mean, that kind of sucks, but... Yeah, we're just going to say go here. I see no reason to do anything. Put us to 10. They can't attack here. Well, drawing another land was not great. We'll play that one. Do we want to return this thing to stop them from having a 2/2? Oh, man. I don't know. I think we're just hanging on to this another turn. I think this is worth here. We get to return this to our hand. And then if they attack... So if they draw a land, we go to 7. The land puts us to 5, which they did. They're not attacking here. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, we gotta attack. Like, we can't just sit here forever. We're going to 7 off the Ramunap Ruins this turn. Like, unless there's like a Glorybringer in their deck they're trying to hang out for, which I highly doubt it. Like, it's possible, but it feels like this feels like one of those like lower to the ground red decks that has like a few higher end cards like Torch of Defiance. Oh, this thing can't block. Crap, I always forget that. Well, that sucks. I get to play with fire my Supreme Phantom. Then I have nothing that blocks. Now, the good news is that they are at least two lands away from being able to do anything. God, this is so bad. We'll say go. I guess it might have actually been better to have tapped down one of them. Yeah, it was definitely better to tap one down there, because if we tap one down, then we get to keep both of our creatures. And they found the Lightning Strike. Oh well. I mean, it wasn't gonna matter. We tap one down, like they drew a lot up the stage. I don't know. Like I felt like our draws didn't work out very well there. I've also never seen a mono red deck that plays Grafdigger's Cage. Not that it ever came up, but I've never seen one that does that. So I was surprised to see that, nonetheless. I don't know. Like those hate cards in red strategies, like, generally don't get you there. Like, and I can say that as someone who's tried it. Like, that's not from just, like, me just saying that for no reason. Like, I have tried hate cards in red, like, and it just doesn't really get you there. I don't know. So, it just feels interesting. Oh, excuse me. God, Endurance is so much money. I'm going to play Living End after this and see how that feels, but my God, I mean, like, I look at some of this stuff, and this is just, like, some of these cards are just nonsense. Like, Connor Man's also trying to play Blue-Red Wizards in Pioneer. What is people's obsession with Blue-Red Wizards in Pioneer? Like, is there something that I've missed? Is that deck, like, cracked and I didn't get the announcement? That deck just seems so okay. Yeah, we'll keep this. We have all of our colors online here. Like, you kind of thought sees me. It's definitely what it feels like. And also having 3 Rattlechains here is pretty solid. Gives us the ability to play at instant speed, pretty much no matter what our opponent has. Like, they're either going to take one of our Rattlechains. Interesting. That's interesting. I was like, I was going to say, or they're going to take our Empyrean Eagle. I would not have guessed in a million years that they would have taken the Mausoleum Wanderer there, but maybe there's something that they need to cast that they can't afford to play around the Mausoleum Wanderer. Yep, we'll just say go here. Attempt to flash in a Rattlechains at the end of their turn. Probably get met with a counterspell, but that's okay. Really just want to make sure that we see a third land here. Seeing a third land's important. Well, nice of our opponent to say hi. Okay. So I let this resolve. I'm just gonna hold up Rattlechains here. Like I have no interest in really doing anything. We're getting to chip in for 2, and then we can flash in a Rattlechains here at the end of their turn. Rattlechains protects our other Rattlechains and just gives us like pretty good coverage here. If they'd have flashed in, if they'd have made a Shark there, we would have flashed in Supreme Phantom there. Or I guess we probably would have flashed in the Empyrean Eagle in response. Let's just go ahead and flash in the Eagle here. They have a counterspell and a fatal. Like if they have a counterspell and a fatal push here, it's kind of a blowout. But at the same time, like we have to play through these cards at some point. They leave that card on top. So them having a fatal push here is definitely a blowout. Because they get to fatal push our Supreme Phantom, and then they get to throw the Shark in front of our Rattlechains. And that is, okay, I was going to say that's definitely a blowout, but they didn't have that. I mean, it's possible they just have a follow-up sweeper here. Ooh, it's Esper. Interesting. Just kind of assumed they were on blue-black the way the game's gone so far. March, okay. Yep. Well, we're going to chip in for 2 more here and say go. Well, if they're on like true Esper here and they're playing to Supreme Verdict, then the Selfless Spirit is like really good for us. Guess we can just go ahead and flash in the other one too. I mean, we want to put on maximum pressure here. And if they do anything that requires us sacrificing a Selfless Spirit, we can just flash that in response. Spell Queller is also a pretty good addition to the hand here. I was like, man, I'm not going to lie. Part of me wants to Spell Queller that, but I just don't think we can play around Supreme Verdict here. So I think we have to take our Selfless Spirit where we can get it. Now, doing that does let them know that they need a Fatal Push. So we probably should have let the Memory Deluge resolve and then flashed in a Selfless Spirit. Give them less information before playing anything, but... They must be like blue-black splashing white for March or something. Because this is a lot of black lands. And if they're playing Supreme Verdict, then I guarantee you that they need more than that. All right. Disdainful Stroke, Mystical Dispute. So one of my buddies played Bant Spirits at the team tournament I was at a few weeks ago. And he was making an argument for Deafening Silence in this matchup. If anybody in the chat has opinions on that, I would love to hear your thoughts. I don't personally think it's right, but I am more than happy to hear why I'm wrong. So the Shacklegeist are kind of meh. The cut a couple of collected company because we are bringing in 5 instant sorceries, and we probably just cut a Skyclave Apparition. I think that's probably the best way to go about this. We want to leave in some number of collected companies, even if our numbers are slimmed quite a bit here, just because collected company is such a powerful card. It has so much value and allows us to do so many dumb things. My buddy's argument is that Deafening Silence only allowed them to play 1 counterspell per turn, and I was like, I understand that and I hear you, but you're taking one, or if not multiple parts of your turn to, or one of your entire turns to play a Deafening Silence, like when they can just play a counterspell and then play a sweeper on their turn, or play a counterspell and then play a removal spell on their turn. I don't know, it just feels kind of underwhelming if you want the truth. Feels like it would be wrong because their spells are overall better. Yeah, see, I think so too. I don't know, it feels a little underwhelming to me. It's something that I'd really have to like test and like play a lot of games with, but I don't play a ton of games with spirits, so that's probably never going to happen. Truthfully. I mean, this hand is a little land heavy, but I think this hand's fine. We have Mausoleum Wanderer, Selfless Spirit, and Empyrean Eagle. Like, that's a pretty solid curve, honestly. So, but I could see like forcing them to go for a removal spell and then using a tempo piece to stop it, and now they can't use another one. I mean, yeah, and again, that was his argument to the play, is that you're making their turns awkward, and like. I hear what you're saying. I just don't know. It just seems a little too like gimmicky to me. I think everything Spirits does makes the control deck's turns awkward. Yeah, no, that's for sure. Well, I was not hoping or expecting to draw 2 more lands off our 4-land hand, but here we are. Now the good news is that next turn we have Empyrean Eagle to try and just like push through as much damage as possible. Bad news is that after that, we currently have nothing else to do. Supreme Phantom's a good pickup. They don't have double blue, so they're not casting a counterspell here. Maybe they're going to play a removal spell. Like maybe they have March here. March on the Selfless Spirit. I was like, March on the Selfless Spirit into... March the Selfless Spirit into Supreme Verdict's not bad. I'd probably just use the Mausoleum Wanderer to counter the March here, though, honestly. Well, next turn is 4, 8, 11. Well, they traded 2 points for 4 here, or for 3, so I mean, that's good. That's good for them anyway, not for us. Our opponent does not hit a 4th land. That's interesting. Man, I don't see a reason for our opponent to sandbag a land here. I'm going to counter the Fatal Push with the Mausoleum Wanderer because I think that Selfless Spirit represents more protection. Jeez. Well, let's attack for 5, because that's all we can do. I mean, honestly, if we drew Spell Queller here, doesn't look bad. Like, we're representing Spell Queller draw pretty well. Now, our opponent knew our hand, minus the Hallowed Fountain here, so they know that we don't... Like, they know that there's not a high chance that we're just sitting here holding a Spell Queller, but possible nonetheless. Our opponent just says go. Now we are holding a Spell Queller. I'm actually going to play this land instead of playing Hallowed Fountain tapped, because if we did draw something last turn, it represents that we have a possibility of doing multiple things here. That we could have like Rattlechains and Spell Queller here. Oh, excuse me. They had an opt and they didn't cast it during their turn to find a 4th land. That is bizarre to me. I don't think that's right, personally. Wow. Well, if they have Land Supreme Verdict here, it's not good enough because we have the Selfless Spirit. I actually just don't think they have an out here. I was like, I just think they're dead. I was like, I don't know. Like, if that was Esper Control, our opponent had very awkward hands. And, I mean, the opt during my turn decision was pretty weird. I don't agree with it because you're missing land drops and you're, like, you're obviously at least a mid-range deck. Maybe not a control deck, but you're at least a mid-range deck, which means I have no understanding on why you're not... Like, why you're not just trying to make something happen there. So, I don't know. That's kind of weird, but whatever. And good luck, opponent. This hand feels pretty solid. I mean, obviously this hand, you know, needs us to draw a couple of lands, but we're on the draw and there's 23. I am trying to read your name right now and I'm like having a stroke. Primavera Dante? I hope I said that right. Thanks for the follow. Nonetheless, I appreciate it, even if I butcher your name to death. Okay, I mean... So I'll probably just play, this looks like Izzet Phoenix. I guess it could be Izzet Control. Izzet Control is a thing now. It's popular in Pioneer. I'm probably just going to stick with calling you Dante if you're in the chat. So thanks for the follow, Dante. I appreciate it. I'll probably... Okay, so they're opting, so they kept a landlight hand. MD983. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it, buddy. With double opt like that, this definitely makes me think they're Phoenix. Also makes me think they're stuck on lands. I want to play this. Shacklegeist... I think Selfless Spirit's more important to protect against Anger of the Gods. They didn't have a removal spell at instant speed there. That's interesting. Kind of figured they'd have like a Flame Blessed Bolt there. Maybe they didn't want to spend a Lightning Axe on a Shacklegeist. That also makes sense. We'll really have to try and like out-tempo our opponent. Pieces of the puzzle. Alright, what are we taking? You're taking Consider, bro. That feels bad. Yeah, so we'll play this on the blue side. Honestly, I'm just gonna push through some damage here. Like, I don't really want to hold up Spell Queller on this turn because holding up Spell Queller here puts us in a losing position in my opinion, because we're now in a spot where we only have 2 points on board and we're not really committed to making anything happen. And plus, if they just play some cantrips, it's nothing I want to Spell Queller. And if they do happen to go for a Thing in the Ice here, I have the Skyclave Apparition as an answer. If they put a Phoenix in play, we have a Skyclave Apparition. Like, the ideal thing here is probably just to play Collected Company. Like, realistically, that's what we're going to do here, is just play Collected Company. Or if we hit a 2-drop, we're in a pretty decent position to play another 2-drop. They have to have another land I mean, they have a Consider. I don't think they played the Consider yet, have they? No, they haven't. So, a tapped land. That's interesting. Happy to see a Pioneer stream. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I've been playing Pioneer for quite a while. I honestly love the format. Like, it's a lot of fun, and that's something I play a good bit of. So, we're going to play this on the white side, and we're going to attack for 5. Say go. If they do anything, like if they play an Anger or something like that, we can Spell Queller it. But more than likely what our turn is going to look like here is a Collected Company. Like, we have a lot of 3-drops in our hand, and we have a Selfless Spirit, so the odds of us playing Collected Company and then having 3-drop, 2-drop is a lot better than whatever else we're probably doing. They consider a Steam Vents into the yard. You hate to see the tapped land after digging 5. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's really bad beats for our opponent, honestly. Like, the only land that they had was a Spirebluff Canal. Like, that's pretty low variance. Like, that's pretty crappy odds, in my opinion, for our opponent. I'm curious to see if they attack here. Like, that's a genuine statement. They do. Interesting. They must have a couple of removal spells in their hand. I still think it's worth us playing the Collected Company here, honestly. Even if they just pass. Probably a little greedy, because we're giving them a window here to tap out and kill both of our guys. Or maybe they have an Instant Charm to counter it. They do. Interesting. No, I will not pay 2. Let's draw a land, please. And we draw a land right on curve. And it was a white land on top of that. Okay, so is it better to play Skyclave Apparition here, or is it better to play Spell Queller? We're going to attack for 5 regardless. I think Skyclave Apparition's better here, honestly. Like, maybe we should have saved that to try and clear a path later if we need it, but I don't know what we're trying to clear a path through. Like, we can use the Shacklegeist to tap something down if we want. Like, using Empyrean Eagle and Apparition to tap down Phoenix and attack is pretty solid, I think. So, our opponent's got 7 cards in hand, and they have yet to play a single removal spell, so I'm inclined to believe that they have at least 2 in their hand. Like, probably more. Crackling Drake, okay. I mean, that would have been a heck of a Spell Queller target. Again, curious to see if they attack. They do not this time, which personally I think they shouldn't have last time either, but they block 3, take 3, 5, 7 here. They concede from the game. Okay, so I don't know where our opponent's removal spells were, but kind of figured they would have them. Deafening Silence is really good against this deck. Mystical Dispute helps us fight through things. I mean, looking at what we're bringing in, we're just taking out all the collected companies because we're bringing in 7 non-creature spells. Watcher of the Spheres is a good card, but I just think we want other things. Honestly, like I don't think we want Watcher of the Spheres. I love that card, but I hate that card all at the same time. I don't know how to describe that card to me, if you want the truth. Like that card is great, but that card is somehow terrible to me all at the same time. Like it's a bear that gets pumped that reduces your stuff. Like it is a phenomenal card in every sense. I don't know. I'm thinking it's not very good right here. So I'm gonna keep this. The question is, are we shocking in the Hallowed Fountain on turn 1 to have the Mystical Dispute for the thing in the ice? I think the answer is yes, because we don't have a follow-up answer, and there's only 4 real removal spells in the Skyclave Apparitions. I guess there's the 2 portable holes as well. Did we bring the portable holes in? I didn't think I did. But I think we're shocking here because if they go for the thing in the ice here, I'm just going to Mystical Dispute it. And I'm glad we did so. Alright, we'll run out Selfless Spirit and say go. And then next turn we have Supreme Phantom and Mausoleum Wanderer. Okay. Well, we know they're not playing that thing in the ice. Now that's interesting. I was going to run out the Supreme Phantom here with the Selfless Spirit. With the Mausoleum Wanderer, but I think we're better off just playing the Rest in Peace here if you want the truth. Because they could spell 3. They actually have no way of. I guess they actually have no way of casting Treasure Cruise next turn. They can bring Phoenixes back though, and I do want to avoid that if I can. So I'm gonna dodge that altogether here. Just bring it, just play Rest in Peace, and then next turn we can. The next turn we can run out Supreme Phantom, and if we draw something else, we have something else to play too. But if not, Supreme Phantom's just a pretty good play next turn by itself. Also, Arclight Phoenix is now Snarethopter. Like, that's also pretty sweet. That's a pretty solid, line of play. Pieces of the puzzle. So they get Lightning Axe, Expressive Iteration. They don't have a land. So we'll play the Empyrean Eagle. We're representing Mystical Dispute here. I don't really know if bluffing here is worth anything at this point, but it seems like an okay option to at least make them think about what they're doing here. I mean, that's what Selfless Spirit's for. Well, now Sweltering Suns doesn't matter. I think our opponent accidentally 6'd through their turn. It's the only thing that really makes sense to me there, so I think they're stopping. Would have liked for one of these lands to have been something else. I mean, whether it was a creature for us to add to the board, or like a counterspell of some variety, like Mystical Dispute in our hand here would be awesome. Would love to see Mystical Dispute. Spell Queller, like Spell Queller would just it's probably the best draw we can have, truth be told. That or Skyclave Apparition's pretty solid. Like, if they happen to hit land Thing in the Ice here, not super likely. They've already seen 2. Lightning Axe, the Empyrean Eagle. It's definitely the thing that makes the most sense. Lightning Axe, discarding Lightning Axe. Okay. Well, we're flooding out quite a bit here. I mean, that's 7 lands and 13 cards, which is pretty unfortunate, but we're just going to sit here and pretend like we have something to hold up. Put my phone on silent. I get tired of it going off while I'm streaming, and I feel like it vibrates against the desk very loudly. Alright, well, Spell Queller's a pretty good draw here. Now, they have 5 cards in their hand, so they have lots of answers. Something tells me one of them is a Crackling Drake. I'm really hoping that they draw a land here and tap out for it. That would probably be best case scenario for us, is for them to tap out for a Crackling Drake here. Also, we should have played the Hengegate Pathway there, because if they have Mystical Dispute, now we can't pay 3 for it. So if they have Mystical Dispute here, it's kind of a blowout, honestly. We're left with nothing. So this was one of those instances that playing the land would have been better. Funny part is I can now play the land if I want to. Don't really know why I would, but I guess it just looks like we now have another, like maybe we have another Spell Queller or something to do. I don't know. Land represents lots of things. Our opponent getting bonked. Is this another Sweltering Suns? Blowout. Our opponent getting bonked by the 4th land here again. Spirebluff Canal coming into play tapped is less than ideal for our opponent. We'll run out the Shacklegeist here. We'll say go. It's very possible that our opponent just has another Arclight Phoenix in hand. Like one of their cards is an Arclight Phoenix, and they're just going to play Snaretopter here. They consider a Wandering Fumarole to the graveyard. Well, another land is kind of tough. We will continue to say go here. Thing in the ice is going to be tough for us to beat. Or it's not going to be tough for us to beat. All right, let's run out Skyclave Apparition. I mean, we're presenting lethal here. And we've had one card in our hand for a long time, which, if you've been playing Magic for a while, tells you one of two things. That I have been sandbagging something, and I'm one of the most patient human beings on the face of the planet, or I have a land. Like, those are honestly the two things that someone not playing a card for a long time should tell you. That they're either very patient and realize how long they can wait, or they're just holding a land. Like, they're just holding something that does nothing. Those are generally the two things that means. So, yeah. See, here you go, Connor man. He's now playing Wizards. He's playing. Actually, I'm just gonna pull him over here so y'all can see this. Like, I'm curious to talk about this for a second. He's playing. Hang on. All right, we got 4 Delvers. And Stormchaser Mage and Dreadhorde Arcanist. Why are people playing Dreadhorde Arcanist and Treasure Cruise? I feel like that is a giant nombo. Like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy. That, Dreadhorde Arcanist and Treasure Cruise do not play well together. I like Stormchaser Mage. I don't know, I like a lot of the things that this list is trying to do. I think that if you are going to play Wizards, you need to be on a blue-red aggro deck that has Wizard's Retort and some kind of Spell Pierce Mystical Dispute as backup. Personally, I wouldn't even hate to try that. Same honestly. Enjoyed the stream. Keep it up. I'm going to sleep. Good night. Hey, well, man, I appreciate you stopping by. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you sleep well. All right. I mean, I would be down to try something like that, to try a Wizards list in Pioneer, but it would be very different. Now, part of that might be shaped because I'm just an aggro player at heart. I think you drop Cruise and probably add in some Expressive and Scions, or just drop the Arcanist. So, I mean, Arcanist is really good. Arcanist has a lot of value, so I don't know that cutting Arcan, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. You're doing one or the other. We're going to put one of these back on the bottom. You're either cutting Treasure Cruise or you're cutting Arcanist. Those are the two options in my opinion. Haha. Joke's on you, opponent. I'm gonna counter your spell. Okay. I mean, this feels pretty good. And then next turn we get to play the white side of the pathway here and hold up Spell Queller. I'm on the first one, and Royal Scion, so your Arcanist can recast some Wizard's Lightnings. So, I mean, honestly, Royal Scions is insane in that deck. If you're playing Wizards, you should be playing Royal Scions. That card is just so good in that deck. I even put a couple copies of that deck in my Jeskai Mentor list because it just seems so good. So, I mean, a couple Royal Scions in the main seems very well worth, in my opinion. Hang on. Cast Empyrean Eagle number 2. Attack for 3. So I like playing the Empyrean Eagle here. I know we're leaving the shields down a little bit, But our opponent has played 2 removal spells here, and then after this we get to hold up Spell Queller. Now, our opponent had a Lightning Axe here, but at the same time, like, I don't entirely know what we're doing to beat that. Charter Course the third Phoenix here, we're probably just going to lose. They discard Temporal Trespass. That's interesting. Yep. I'm on Grixis Arcanist at my local LGS. Only played 1 event so far, but in an event I ulted Scions twice and recast a K command and some expressive iterations. Yeah, see, like, that's insane. Like, that's awesome. Now, like, granted, I know that you're talking about, like, the ceiling of the card by ulting Royal Silence, but I mean, the fact that you get to recast expressive iteration is bonkers, dude. Like, that's insane. Recasting that, recasting Wizard's Lightning, like, you get a lot of play. You get a lot of play in doing so. I mean, I think we're attacking here. This game's not really gone our way, but oh, we are Spell Quellering that. Like, that's just too good not to Spell Queller. Alright. Deck. You're murdering my soul here. Like, if we could draw something to do that's not lands here, we'd be in pretty good shape. I don't even think the 6 ult is the ceiling. It starts at 6. It just happens. No, I mean, I guess that's fair. Like, you don't have to go that far to ult that card. So I mean, I guess like it makes sense that like I just like ultimating a Planeswalker is virtually the ceiling of anything you're trying to accomplish, in my opinion. Like, if you're playing a Planeswalker, like, the ultimate, that's the ceiling. Kind of wish we would have found another... Kind of wish we would have found another Lord there, or like a Selfless Spirit over a Rattlechains, but drawing Collected Company was a pretty sweet draw there, so... Oh, Lord. They took Play with Fire, Expressive Iteration. Makes sense. Expressive Iteration is probably the best card they're going to find. Oh, man. See, the problem here is that if we ever attack with Spell Queller, we're just leaving ourselves out to dry because they're just going to double block, go 2 for 1, and then they're just going to go 2 for 1 and just cast pieces of the puzzle. Well, game's probably over now. Like, casting Trespass here. They cast Trespass, I'm going to concede. Okay. I don't know how we beat that. Like, when you copy Trespass there, I don't know how someone beats that. Again, I think we want all of the cards we talked about earlier. I know our opponent played Spirits pretty weird, or played Phoenix pretty weird in our last match, but I think this is a pretty good place to start. Man, I really hate not having a white source here. I think we got a mulligan. I think we're just taking too big of a chance on not having a white source. And I think this is a lot better because I think we can keep this and put the Mana Confluence on the bottom. Play the Breeding Pool tapped. Our opponent keeps 7. Play Breeding Pool tapped and say go. We're going to play this tapped. I know we could have got the Supreme Phantom down, but there's a high chance that they have a removal spell here. They kept 7. And plus, I like being able to play Supreme Phantom here and hold up Mystical Dispute. We'll play Selfless Spirit and we'll say go. That's fine. I think countering pieces of the puzzle here is a pretty solid play, like truthfully. Play this, play Temple Garden tapped, and say go. Feels like our opponent this time around is much better than our last opponent. Also feels like we don't have any hate cards here, so... Okay. Let's attack for 3 and say go. Like they're probably blocking here. We're gonna return this to our hand here. And then we're just going to say go. I actually really like that play because it gives us Empyrean Eagle and Mystical Dispute back up next turn. Which I personally think seems awesome. And it kind of feels like our opponent's flooding out here, so... Play Empyrean Eagle. Yeah. Attack for 4. Okay, feels like our opponent's flooding out a little bit here. I don't have Trespass. I mean, I guess the good news is that if one of their last cards is Trespass, we can counter it, so they only get 1 extra turn. I mean, knowing that it worked out that way, like them having the Trespass is not that terrible for us. Now they might just fire up the Hall here, and if they do, we go to 10. Okay, or they just play a Treasure Cruise for just value there. 5, put you to 7. Maybe I'm supposed to play the Skyclave Apparition there to put like super lethal in play. I don't think that's correct though. Wow, that's a cruise. I mean, yeah, like that was definitely something else. Like I have very rarely ever seen people tap out for Treasure Cruise like that. So. Consider play with fire to the graveyard. Play opt to the top. Okay. I think I'm willing to counter that. It's more important to keep my Lord around. I mean, we're just going to say go here. Like, we can't really risk losing anything. Feels like our opponent probably doesn't have a removal spell here. Well, that's pretty good. They're probably taking consider an expressive iteration here, if I had to guess. Yeah. That seems pretty solid. If we're able to get out of this one, I would be pretty surprised. Well, that's definitely one way to do it. Yeah, I'm just going to say go here, because tapping something down now to attack for 3 is a lot worse than being able to tap 2 things down at the end of their turn. Yeah, we get to tap down. They put Mystical Dispute into the yard. Okay. If they go for something backbreaking here, we do have Spell Queller. Part of me wonders if I shouldn't just counter that. Do you want the truth? Would it be nice to tap things down here? No. Yeah, I mean, they hadn't really played one, and we've only seen one go to the graveyard, so I mean, it was kind of irrational, in my opinion, to think that they didn't have one there. I was like, if they want to attack, I am so okay with that. We don't have to tap anything down here. They block 4, take 3, 6, 8. As long as they don't have like their last lightning axe, because they've cast 3 of them. They have to have their last lightning axe here. Like, okay. All right, so we get out of that one there. So we won that game without drawing any. Well, I'll take that back. We drew 1 Mystical Dispute. Was our only sideboard card. We didn't see Rest in Peace or Deafening Silence. Now those are important cards. Seeing those is really big. Oh man, I'm wondering if Katilda is good enough or not. I don't think it is, but it might be. I think we just need to see some hate here, and I think we get a win. Like, if we see some good hate, we get a win, and call this a pretty good league. Well, we have some hate, but we have nothing to go along with. 1 land, we just can't keep 1 land here. I mean, we could have put back a land there, but God, that just feels so bad. I just can't rationally put a land back when we only have 3, knowing that our deck is comprised of heavy 3-drops. And we'll say go here. Because we're either, 1, flashing in Rattlechains, or we're casting Mystical Dispute on something super relevant like that. Like, they might have another land here, but I don't want them to dig through their cards. We'll say go here. If they play something of relevance, we'll cast Spell Queller. If they don't, we'll just flash in a Rattlechains at the end of the turn. They opt to the bottom. Spell Queller, that is not bad. We'll attack for 2. I like holding up the Rattlechains here. Alright, our opponent's going to try and race us. Which I personally think is interesting. Oh, man. I think we have to just play this now. Like, I don't want to get blown out by a counterspell, and I don't want to get blown out by a place where I'm not able to pop the Selfless Spirit. Okay. Let's attack for 4. Let's say go here. I mean, we could like Spell Queller that, but that just seems wrong. God, don't tell me your last card's a removal spell. I mean, we weren't going to be able to Spell Queller that anyway, but man, that is backbreaking that that's their last card. We just can't attack here. Like, this is just, like, hard stalemate for us to block with. And I definitely should have waited and flashed that in. That was just wrong on my part. You have 3 cards in hand. You have to have something to play here. We're going to go ahead and flash this in while they're tapped out, and then let that resolve. Like, the only thing that's really a blowout here is Sweltering Suns, but if they had Sweltering Suns, it doesn't matter. Alright, we're just going to hope we draw an untapped white source here. Alright, let's cast this and see what happens. If I figured they would have played their removal spell there if they had it. Alright, attack for 6. Let's put the pressure on. It feels like we're in a decent spot here. So he did have to play with fire if we went to 2 there. And I kind of figured he did, like our opponent did, because that's a pretty aggressive attack. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Not Sweltering Suns, please. Or Anger of the Gods, like no Wrath effect. If they attack, I'm honestly kind of scared. Skyclave Apparition get us there? Does that do it, opponent? Alright, well, in case they do have something to do here, I'm going to run out the Shacklegeist. Okay, I didn't know if they had anything to do. So, going back to this here, before we do anything, if we play the, like, if they have a removal spell for the Spell Queller, they get their Arclight Phoenix back, which then allows me to use Shacklegeist to tap it down and still come across. So it was, wait, was that going to be lethal? Yeah, no, they were 4, so yeah. But, so it would have been wrong not to play it beforehand. Okay, well, Spirits was a pretty good league. I don't know why I feel like I always do well with this deck. Like, the Bant Spirits deck is, like, very tempo-y, very, like, aggressive. Like, it's very my speed, honestly. I really like it. Yeah. Well, this was Bant Spirits. I'm gonna take a few minute break here.